sequel hides inside an ending. When the time is up, you pray that it's extended. For life, to the cultured and the Philistine, once felt is craved till thrills become routine. Once routine, the thrills to thrill must grow, and if they don't, an outrage starts to show. So, double up on the savagery in war. To satisfy, you multiply the gore. You make the aftermath a catapult. The result, of feasting on the gore until you are ill, until you vomit what you once did fulfill. To feast, we start in a banquet room, one whose table is already a bloody tomb. A scene so monstrous it sends out the savage, presumably to snuff out what makes us ravage. But in making a spectacle of vengeance, do we pause, or spur it on with centuries of applause? In grappling and here and now with all that's past, we wonder how to slow what's been too fast. Will we surpass the past or be its equal? Will we break or confirm the bloody sequel? Intensify till violence does cascade, or let the clean-up come, and to the maid.
Our maid just enters and he gets applause? Best first day on the job that ever was. Bit more than I was expecting. Sort of difficult to know where to begin. Me mum always said, when cleaning, Gary, you start at the top and work your way down. Alright then. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. Don't mind me, I'll just put my foot there and, oh, right, don't mind me. Oh, sorry about the face. Oh, slippery one. 2 boys in here got baked inside 2 pies. Long story short, most everybody dies. I had a part in it. A little brief. I guess I'm what you'd call comic relief. A joke, that's what I was. And not a good one. Because when that joke's on you, it ain't that fun. I used to juggle pigeons in the gutter. So didn't clean, but helped make the clutter. I always was a clown who hated clowns. You know the type who stumble about the towns with off-time jokes invariably that flop, and so becomes a target for the slop. For when your talent's barely juggling birds, it makes a bloke a bullseye for the turds. Not metaphorical, and not from foul, but actual poo found in human bowel. Me great-great-granddad was a clown. They claim he wasn't good as well, but all the same. He passed routines on down to us that followed, and every generation grinned and swallowed our place inside the square with poo and pigeons, as clowning was inherited like religions. I never had the reins of my own doing. Me choices were what others were pursuing, like that there Titus general before me. His tale when told and used and did ignore me. It was the same old same. Rich folk want power, revenge, and center stage, and will devour the little folk like me along the way. So yeah, they killed some folk in this buffet. They speechified and then they had a sob. But all you need to know is, I got a job. Yeah, really that is it. No need to stress, or even read a little synopsis. I get it, some will wish they'd done their study, but either way all this would still be bloody. So let me say it clear, all that you need, that Titus bloke is dead. Now I'm the lead. For this here work's an opportunity. There'll be no begging for the coin for me. There'll be no eggs, insults, or poo I'll dodge. Not with this job. Me foot's inside the lodge. Me foot's inside the court. Next comes the rest. Me clowning days are done and I got a quest to raise me status, climb up top the ladder, so watch this cameo begin to matter.
Oh, don't mind me, I'll get the door myself. Yeah. How about a raise?
Hello, Janice. My name is
Gary, what you doing here?
Now you're supposed to say, hello, Gary. My name is Janice.
What, is that some sort of routine?
Well, gotta make a good impression on the first day of work.
What are you on about?
I got a job.
With me?
I know, isn't it fun? Best day ever.
But you're the street clown.
Yeah, I've got a promotion.
From clown to maid?
Because all the other maids got killed in the coup.
So they send me a clown as if anyone can do the cleaning.
I ain't know anyone.
Ain't that just the way it is?
More like an everyman who's a nobody else.
Well, we ain't got time to debate it, so start unloading the dead. We gotta get this banquet room clean for the inauguration they're having here in the morning.
Really?
I ain't never. In all my years, I'm at me lowest. The fingers are twitching on the sword, Gary, ready to stab a couple mates dead for failing at a job. So quit your naysaying and get a pep in your step.
But the coup ain't even done yet, and the new emperor's having an inauguration?
Now, you know the higher-ups always like to say they finished a job before actually doing it. And it's pronounced Emperor.
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 Right, that's what I said, emperor.
Emperor.
It's pronounced emperor?
Emperor.
Right, that's what I said, emperor.
Emperor.
It's pronounced emperor?
Emperor.
Emperor.
Peror! Why a clown always gotta talk in a cockney?
It's funny.
You're a Roman.
What am I supposed to do, talk in the Latin?
You gotta be a clown about everything?
Janice, you ever wonder if the thing you're complaining about is the thing you do yourself?
Well, I know I talk in a cockney. Sensible or not, it's me place as a maid. But when a clown does it, you're just making me place a joke. And I ain't a joke, you hear?
It ain't a clown who gets themselves out of a hanging.
What you on about?
It all started when I did this favor for one so Mr. Titus.
General Titus?
He stopped me in the street in front of a whole bunch of his blokes and told me to deliver a note to the emperor.
I worked for that man his whole life. He never once said hello to me.
Probably a good thing, as that note he gave me ended up having me knife in it.
What you mean?
Yeah, and when the emperor saw the knife, he took that as a threat and sent me to be hanged.
Why'd you put your knife in the note?
I didn't do it, General Titus did.
But you delivered it!
Well, it was exciting going to court, and I forgot the knife was there.
You're telling me you can't feel something a bit inflexible in a piece of parchment?
Well, it could have been a stick or something.
Why'd someone send an empty roll a stick?
I don't know. I just was doing what I was told and got caught up in an intrigue. Hey, Janice, you think Titus chose me because he thought I didn't matter?
General Titus. Warmongering, mass murderer, or not, gotta be respectful.
Well, he wasn't respectful of me. Thought I was a silly fellow. Sorta disposable. But I didn't get hanged, did I? Or stabbed dead like he did. 'Cause I figured out me maneuver.
Don't be talking dirty.
But in the moments at the gallows pit, it's then me noggin had a little wit, Janice. Gary, this noose ain't gotta be your death. They'll need a maid now that most ain't got breath. And right there then, once tasting a solution, the flavor spurred me on, past persecution. So when they asked for my last words, I said, I want a better job to earn me bread. I took the reins of life, used common sense. You need a bloke to clean and to dispense of all the dead. Well, it would be a privilege and stop more mess from your own dangling dribblage. And here's the point. It ain't fortuity that there was me first ingenuity. And knock me over they agreed they did. Go clean the banquet room, sirrah. I kid you not. As if the plans were theirs they'd made, not the little clowns who got them swayed. And calling me sirrah, all arbitrary, when everybody knows me name is...
Gary, you're gonna talk like that all day.
What do you mean?
Why you rhyming?
Was I?
Can't abide rhyming. Sorta irritating. Sorta like you're pecking at me brain.
Never rhymed before. Ooh, me ingenuity is picking up the speed.
Well, keep it to yourself and get to work.
All right. So what I thought we'd do is
What? You wanna be in charge?
Well, they did sort of tell me that I would.
Well, they told you, did they?
Well, it was assumed it was part of the bargain.
It was assumed, was it?
Am I not in charge?
I want you to look at me in the face and tell me what you think the answer to that is.
But...
In the face.
Oh, no!
What, you're saying you'd rather be dead than have me in charge?
Might be.
Gary!
But it was part of me considering
Or ain't that the way it is? I spend my life in service learning an expertise on how to write a room, and what does it get me? Does it get me respect? An assumption of a leadership position? Or do I instead get saddled with a rhyming clown who thinks he should be in charge because it was part of his consideration?
I'm sorry, Janice, it's just that.
You think this is my first massacre? You think I sat idly by on the Ides of March? You think the mangled man parts of Marcus Manlius just rolled themselves off the scene? Oh no. Someone had to collocate the duties, marshal the maids, assemble the scrubbers, and that someone was me, time and time again. I'm a lot older than I look. And you think today's coup was self-contained in this little bit of dining room? Just a couple of blokes baked into a pie, a couple more stabbed through. You think the streets are all clean and nifty. You know as well as I do, it's hell on earth out there, and it's only getting worse. What, with the autocracy turning into a democracy, turning back into an autocracy as we speak. But who you think's gonna get it sorted? Who you think's got the bright idea of taking a room like this, already sullied with slaughter, and turning it into a holding room? A sort of storage space for the rest of the slaughter. Do you think that was the idea of some pigeon juggler? No, that had to come from someone who's been at it before. Someone who knows you put the murder and the mayhem in one place to make it easier to see what's what. But now you listen to me. I got 10 more years before I can put up me plates, and me aches and pains are traveling a lot faster than the years. So I got me own considerations to consider. And part of me considerations have to do with me telling you what to do and you doing it.
But it's not about getting the job done.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, that's just a theory. But a scene like this might indicate that the coup people took over the empire because they were a little mad at it.
You think?
So if a sabotage is what they had in mind, I figure we do as little as possible, try to have some fun, and maybe we'll get promoted.
That's what you figured.
I'm ingenious now, so you understand why I got to be in charge.
Well, perhaps if I didn't need to prove myself with the new leadership to keep me livelihood in life, or if the literal rigor mortis setting in here, as well as the metaphorical one out there went fast approaching, making the task of cleaning an impossibility, or if the world weren't in total collapse right now, or if you had actually done something when I had walked in, I might consider your ingenuity. But as it is, you're just plopping about.
Oh, now.
So it don't matter what those people out there think. The only thing that matters is what these people in here think. You might want to be better than them clowns out there and respect a little authority of subject.
Oh,
What are you crying for?
the state of the world.
Well, there ain't no use in sobbing about it, so. So, first things first, we gotta separate the weapons, accessories, and people.
Really?
In death as in life, you put the men in the heap, and the women and children under that.
How come you've covered them?
I don't like looking at dead women and children. Is that alright with you? Next, we strip the torso. Next, you jiggle them about to set free any excess gas they might go. You might think you're done with it at a certain point, but people always got more gas than you want them to have. Next, you make a small cut above the navel. So you just insert this screw here and pump out the contents of the intestines. Takes about 20 to 30 pumps. Then you make a cut above the main artery. I prefer the armpit to the groin because it seems less invasive. You gotta siphon out all the blood, so make sure you get
think you don't want to do the job you've been assigned.
No point in that.
It just seems that if this is the kind of thing you got to do on the regular, you might not be living your best life.
What, you think I got options? Just the opportunities open up for anybody who wants them?
Just seems that some folk get to do the fun jobs and other folk gotta do the not fun jobs.
Way of the world, so get to it.
Sorta not the best day ever anymore. Oh, that's a handsome looking bloke. Hey, Janice.
What?
That one's got a leading man physique.
Gary!
Just saying, he's the sort of bloke when passing him on the street you'd turn around to see the backside of, you know what I mean?
What, you're saying you're attracted to that there corpse?
Well, he's got a bit of a non-committal charm. Sort of bloke who draws you in by not giving much.
Okay, you put him down and start working on that one over there.
All right. Hey, Janice.
What?
Look, I'm a corpse.
Not that.
What? Just fooling.
Running around acting disrespectful.
Well, you're the one that left the men out in the open.
What do you mean?
You didn't cover them like the women and children.
That's different.
Is it?
Being that we've never had a female MP role before, one might conclude that the men are a little more responsible for a thing like this. So forgive me if I don't treat the blokes with me total sensitivity. Don't mean you can be using them as your playthings the way they use women. Over and over since them Persians kidnapped Io, making the Greeks kidnap Medea and Europa, making them Persians kidnap Helen because everybody wanted two princesses to make it even. But two wasn't enough, so the entire history of conflict is just a bunch of men shuffling princesses. And who you think had to clean it up? All the way from the Sabines, Lucretia, Agnes, and now Lavinia.
Sort of over the top what happened to Lavinia.
Cleaned up after that Titus girl whole life. No fingerprints on the banister.
Oh, cry it out. I bet that feels good.
Stop that. Bad clown. The only thing I can do to help her now is to lay this scene to rest, so get to work. I mean, really. Treat the dead that way. You're a maid now, which means you can't be making a spectacle of yourself, bringing attention. And my name's Gary. How you think I survived when none of the other maids did? I'm the best at what they do, and nobody remembers me name. That's how. And I ain't about to be remembered by association. So keep your head down, do the work, and stop your fooling.
You ever seen a fool?
Is that your question?
Not a fool. A fool. Like a clown, but a step up. A clown with ambition.
You mean like one of them clowns in the courts that insult people?
Them's ain't clowns. Them's fools.
Jokesters, all the same to me.
Oh, Janice, that's... Oh, no, that's just how... Oh, clowns and fools is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
The clown encourages the idiotic by getting laughs and praise for being dumb. But fools, they tease out our stupidity with brains, so spark our feelings and our smarts. The clown's a selfish bloke whose only goal is to satisfy his belly, heart, and groin. But fools are empathetic sorts who learn the suffering of others because they too have been thrown out of homes and had the poo of life thrown at them just for being different from. So while clowns are in it for themselves, a fool's ambition is to save the world. You know what I mean?
No. You're You confused me by talking in the verse without the rhyme. Don't know if my brain's getting pecked at or not.
I'm changing my ways, using me ingenuity. Janice,
What?
I'm gonna tell you a secret.
Oh dear.
I ain't never told nobody, not even myself.
Don't start now.
But it's the day for it. The coup made a crack. You gotta let things out when there's a crack.
Making me uncomfortable.
I don't think I can stop it. It's crawling up me.
We'll squash it down.
It's bubbling out me groin.
That can't be a good thing.
It's reached me heart.
Well, hold your breath and swallow.
I want to be a fool.
Congratulations.
But this could have been me today. That's a near-death experience I had.
Every day for every person is near death. It's called life. It ain't a badge of honor.
But a person who's stuck in an intrigue, you're telling me that ain't special?
That's a casualty.
A casualty ain't special?
No, because it's too casual.
Seems a casualty is how casual it is.
Boo-hoo, where the dregs of Romulus.
Sort of numbing that. Accepting a lot in life. Stuck in a feeling, in her own sort of sequel. But oh boy, saving myself today. But surprising. Sort of gave me a feeling. The only thing that makes a feeling, really. Doing a thing. That's surprising. And feeling it, well, that catapulted me into other things that are surprising. You know, Janice, on my way here, I noticed the sky. I'd never really noticed the sky before. Sure, I'd seen it lots and heard people talk about how pretty a sunset is. But I always feel when people ooh and ah over a thing that happens every day, as if it were some grand surprise, I want to say something cheeky during the sunset, like, guess what? It goes down.
That's not nice.
Yeah, I suppose I'm the sort of person who likes to ruin other people's performance of a feeling. But here I was, surprised by my surprise over how the sky was actually sort of pretty. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't surprised by the prettiness of the sky, but more the surprise of my surprise that the sky was pretty. You know what I mean? It gave me a pep in me step, that did. It's my first day of my new job. But then, watching you pump out them intestines, sort of had another feeling. And I thought, well, Gary, maybe you should encourage them to hang you again, so you can feel that more better feeling you had from getting yourself out of the hanging. But that would be a repeat, wouldn't it? That would be a sequel and not something new and so not surprising. Yeah, that would be more performance of surprise. I wasn't after a repeat. I was after that feeling of a feeling. Because once you feel that, it's proof, ain't it? Proof you don't gotta live your life accepting the muck. And what's that mean? Others don't either. Oh, Janice, I can't be cleaning this. I got a responsibility.
What, to get us killed?
Gotta save the world. Gotta make not just myself better, but all sorts of things. And now that I've got a job in a fancy place, I could find my way to the court, couldn't I? Become one of them blokes who changes the minds of the emperors. Someone who gets a promotion from clown to maid to fool.
What, being a maid ain't enough?
No, just the...
No, I understand. You ain't got respect enough for the people that gotta do the dirty work, and instead you wanna flop about insulting people.
That's just one of the perks.
Gary, you ain't got enough smarts to even be a good clown. But here you are expecting to save people. I mean, you can't even choose the proper juggling equipment.
Can too.
Then why pigeons instead of a few simple bowls?
Well, you gotta love a pigeon.
You ever wonder why when you throw them up, they don't come down?
That's sort of the joke. You're missing it.
No, I think you're missing the joke. Because the joke is you. Oh, is that surprising? Can that give you a feeling? Well, how is this for a feeling? You're common. No, you're worse than common. You're a commoner smelling like shit with an agenda to spread it around. Oh, I can save the world. No. What you can't save is the first obstacle in front of you. Me flaws. And you've got me off schedule, so juggle your ambitions of foolery the same way you do your birds. Trying again?
No,
What's that?
I don't know.
I think that's a teardrop coming out of a weak little clown.
I'm sorry, Janice.
Pump it up.
The first obstacle in front of you?
That's right.
An obstacle could be a wall, like rock, or be a person who's always out to block, who never has a laugh because they're stuck regurgitating other people's muck, who will humiliate those who rebel because they change or thought so too as well. But every wall, especially for those that think, is vulnerable, for it has itself a chink. But what's in front of me that is tyrannous? The obstacle to save is clearly Janice. I don't think you're mean to be mean, Janice.
Oh no, I do.
But look at you, having an unseen role in the scheme of things, never being noticed or respected, to the point where you don't even know what pleasure is anymore.
What, you're saying I don't know how to have a frolic? A pint at the pub? Wearing me best?
No, just I never seen you dressed up.
I ain't saying I done it. You think me pay gets me a closet full of fancy?
Oh look, we got the fancy right here.
Put that down.
Nobody will see.
We ain't being a cliche to our class.
Well, I'd sure work a lot faster with a little pep in the step from a surprise from seeing you wearing a bauble.
What you mean?
Well, you've gotta have something pretty to look at to get you doing the ugly work, and I bet it looked pretty on you.
Oh, Gary.
You gotta inspire people to action.
You saying I put that bauble on? You'll double your work and get us back on schedule.
Ain't nothing put a pep in a step like a surprise from a sparkle.
Give it here. Now get that pep in you. Oh. Well, I do like that. Bit unexpected, this feeling.
The one where you didn't wake up thinking you'd be looking like a respectable.
Don't be blabbering your mouth about it.
Of course, m'lady.
Oh, Gary.
Your cape, m'lady.
Oh, yes. Oh, my. Oh, what to do, what to do, what to do.
Shall we go on a hunting?
I do like a rummage.
All sorts of jewels and rings and shiny things down here. Ooh, I found a ding-dong bracelet. You know you're someone when you got enough to bejewel your privates. Oh, bloody hell. There's me dead emperor. Bet you didn't think it'd turn out like this. Me standing over you. Still, you're looking great. There's 3 stages of life, you know. Youth, middle age, and you're looking great. Oh, thanks. Great to be back in the house of Titus Andronicus. Saturninus. Funny name that. Naming your baby after a planet. Sorta ambitious right from the get-go. Not so ambitious now. Still sorta fancy with the crown. Funny they didn't take that with them. Oh, not fancy. Fancy again. Sorta all it took, isn't it? Oh, not fancy. Fancy. Oh! Well, what do we do with you now? Fancy.
How do I look?
Oh, rule the banquet hall, Janice.
Friends, Romans, countrymen.
Oh, speeches.
No, sorry, garish, loading yourself down with the bauble. I mean, so much you can barely see any skin. Oh, what are you looking at? You want a little more, do you? A little bauble on, a little bauble off.
Oh, spread the wealth.
You want a bauble? Here's a bauble for you. I mean, we got plumbing. If we can figure out something as complicated as our waste and water, surely it shouldn't be too hard to spread a little wealth and shelter while we're at it. Then a meal. Couldn't be too hard to feed people without looking like a walking constellation. Yet we're the ones who make the ways to run the world. So we're the ones who must invent the ways to rise up until the first is last and the last is first. Till then, the righteous give up a bauble.
Oh, Janice, you're missing a piece.
What do you mean? What is that, man? That's
Gold laurel.
You're trying to get me killed?
No, I'm having a...
Gary, it's all tangled.
Oh, Janice, I'm having a...
Gary, Lord, the Empire is stuck on me head.
I'm having a...
Get it off.
I'm having...
What?
Epiphany.
Well, that's just indecent.
I know. That's an ingenuity, a responsibility, and an epiphany all in one day.
What kind of degenerate are ya?
The kind standing here listening to you speechify and thinking, You should be the emperor. Oh, then I could be your fool and insult you in the court. Wouldn't that be fun?
You're trying to make a joke of me.
Of course.
So everyone will laugh at the maid wearing a crown.
Well, they wouldn't laugh if you won it.
Now you think a maid can campaign to win the empire? Get it off.
Well, it's a democracy. Sorta.
No. Maybe you noticed the only thing that changes the leadership is making a spectacle. So unless you plan on making a spectacle that's even bigger than all of this, ain't nobody gonna listen to a maid.
Ah.
And we've got the inauguration banquet happening in the morning.
All the court will be here to witness.